has impacted the lives of over 250 thought leaders across 12 countries, focusing on navigating life transitions, particularly menopause. Named one of the top 30 women leaders to look out for in 2024 by NYC Journal, Daniella is a contributing writer for the international uh, bestseller Beyond Conditioning Life of Your Terms. Her unique wiser, hotter, stronger programs integrate mind, body, and spirit to redefine menopause as a time for personal growth. Now residing in Mallorca, Spain, with her 5 cats, Daniela curates transformative experiences for women leaders, empowering them to embrace their potential.
That was an inspiring bio, Daniela. You have done a fantastic job. So you can
Thank you.
You can continue with your presentation and the stage is yours.
Okay, great. So welcome everybody. Just before I get started, picture this. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm wide awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'll ever sleep through the night again. That is my welcome to my unexpected introduction to perimenopause. So I'm going to share my presentation here for just a second. Hang on. Where is this? Can you see my screen? No, hang on a second. Share screen. Okay, so this is me. So welcome to my keynote speech today on Wiser, Hotter, Stronger, How to Become the Best Version of Yourself, the Menopause Edition. You see, I didn't realize what perimenopause was at first. And I had this naive idea that menopause was all about hot flashes and a little bit of crankiness. So I didn't have any hot flashes, so surely this couldn't be it, right? Well, fast forward a few years, I'm standing on a beach in Mallorca, the sun warming my skin, feeling more alive, more myself than I have in decades. And the journey between these two moments, that's what I'm here to talk about today. But before I dive in, let me just introduce myself again. As already mentioned, I am known as a menopause mindset strategist, because as someone who's delivered more than 25 years of coaching, from corporate leadership to pranic healing, and has helped numerous women to navigate the transformative journey of menopause. What I'm up to now is helping badass women around the world like you all here to conquer midlife and beyond and emerge wiser, hotter, and stronger than ever before. Sorry, I'm sharing my entire screen. So somewhere between the sleepless nights and the confusion, between the self-doubt and the existential questions, I stumbled upon a surprising truth. Menopause isn't just about ending a chapter of our lives, it's about beginning the most exciting one yet. I know what you're thinking. Exciting. Has she lost her mind along with her estrogen? But bear with me, because what I've discovered, what I've lived, is that menopause can be the catalyst for becoming the best versions of ourselves. It's our invitation to step into our most authentic self yet. And today I'm going to share with you how we can navigate this transformation, this transition, so we can emerge from the chrysalis of menopause not just changed, but really transformed. So whether you're before menopause, you're in it, you're beyond it, I'm here to help you rewrite your own menopause story and trade the narrative of decline for one of ascension. So welcome to Becoming the Best Version of Yourself, the Menopause Edition. So let's talk about menopause for a moment, the change, right? It affects every woman, and yet so many of us still approach it with shame, fear, misinformation, or silence. When I went through the peak of sleepless nights and weight gain and feelings of confusion and irritation and grief, I thought, why are we not talking about this? Is this really still a taboo? And I think for too long we have been keeping quiet about menopause, its onsets, its symptoms, its impact on our being, and what it really means for us, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, navigating one of the most challenging transitions in life. For me, it's as if we collide in the face with a hot flash, or in my case, with a bout of insomnia. I believe we've been looking at it all wrong. We've been handed that narrative that paints menopause as a time of loss, as a time of endings, of fading away, a time when we're supposed to quietly step aside and make room for the next generation. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's a load of hormonal hogwash. But I also want to make it very clear that I'm not a medical doctor. But as someone whose mission and passion has been personal development and growth for decades, I am interested in what else this transition brings up. And there's a mind, body, and spirit connection here that we're not considering enough, in my opinion. You see, for me, the challenge isn't about menopause itself or our changing hormones. The real challenge is the way we think about menopause. It's the stories we've been told and the limitations we've accepted and the potential we've overlooked. I remember a moment when it really hit me, when I was lying awake again at 2 a.m., feeling frustrated, feeling less than, and suddenly a thought struck me. If this is the end of something, it must also be the beginning of something else. And what if instead of just losing something, I'm also gaining something invaluable? And that thought honestly was the first crack in the wall of misconceptions I'd built around menopause. And let me tell you, once that wall started to crumble, the view on the other side was breathtaking. So today I'm inviting all of you here to join me in demolishing that wall, to challenge every assumption we've ever had about what it means to be a woman in midlife and beyond, and to open ourselves to the possibility that the best is truly yet to come. Because here's the truth, menopause isn't a life sentence, it's a life stage, it's a transition. And like every stage before, it brings with it its own opportunities, its own gifts, its own opportunities for growth, and its invitation to become more fully ourselves. So, are you ready to unwrap the gifts and seize those opportunities? Maybe show a hand of hands and say, heck yes. So, now that we've acknowledged the challenges that come with menopause, let's talk about the incredible opportunity that menopause also presents, because this is where it gets really exciting. Imagine for a moment that menopause isn't just a biological transition, but a rite of passage, an initiation, a doorway to becoming the woman you were always meant to be. That might sound a bit woo-woo for some of you, but bear with me, because this is where science and soul meet in a very fascinating way. So, during menopause, our brains quite literally rewire themselves. There's a Italian doctor, Dr. Lisa Mosconi, who's done extensive studies on women's brain in menopause. And she says menopause actually starts in your brain and not your ovaries. It's as if Mother Nature, in her infinite wisdom, decided to give us a cognitive tune-up just when we need it most. And studies have shown that as estrogen levels decrease, our brain forges new neural pathways. How exciting is that? We become more adept at big picture thinking and seeing connections where others see chaos. But it's not just our brains that are changing. Our entire being is inviting us to evolve. It's like we're being given a blank canvas and asked, what do you want to be now? After spending years caring for others and putting their needs first, after having children and building a career and making sure we are desirable partners, all the things that are hardwired into our physiology, something changes. And with the loss of our fertility, we sometimes lose part of our identity as well. But this is also the grand opportunity of menopause. We get to choose, maybe for the first time in our lives, who we want to become. It's almost like something is saying, hey, you've lived half your life. Now, what do you want to do with the rest of it? And this, of course, also happens to men, but it's a very profound way it happens for women. And this summit is about visionary leadership. And I believe this is exactly what this time in a woman's life is also about. So for me, menopause is an invitation to shed the layers of the shoulds and expectations we've accumulated over the years, reconnect with our dreams, passions, and visions that we maybe have set aside, step into our power and wisdom in ways we never thought possible, and really redefine success on our own terms. So this is our time to become the heroines of our own stories and leaders for others, to stop playing supportive roles and step into the spotlight of our lives, to trade in the I can't for just watch me. I'm going to share 4 key pillars of becoming the best version of yourself during perimenopause and menopause. But before we continue, I'd actually like to ask you how many of you know what menopause and perimenopause actually really is? Take a moment to think about that. If you don't, then you're not alone. I was just reading some research this morning that says that 28% of women know what to expect during perimenopause. And I certainly was part of the other 62%. I've also read some research that says it takes about 4 visits to your medical practitioner, your general GP or whoever it is, before he starts to connect any, feelings of anxiety, maybe memory issues, emotional issues, to connect that to perimenopause. So it's not just us as women, but also the medical field that is not really trained in recognizing the symptoms so much. So I just want to quickly explain, menopause, you're officially in menopause if you haven't had a cycle for an entire year. So it's also something, it's a slow transition. It's not like a switch is flipped and you're in menopause or you're not. And perimenopause is the time before that change happens. That's really when your hormones get out of balance and when we experience most of the symptoms. So just to talk very briefly about the symptoms, hot flashes, insomnia, anxiety or depression, brain fog, and really a change in your cycle are the symptoms of perimenopause, the onset that something's changing in your system. So the other thing is also, knowing this is very empowering, and realizing there's nothing wrong with you. You're going through a natural process. But I also don't want the pendulum to swing too much in the other direction, where we just blame everything on perimenopause, which is something I've also been observing on social media a little bit, which brings me to my first pillar: lifestyle and nutrition. So let's start with the obvious, right? Your body is changing. And I think it's time we embrace that change instead of fighting it. Because if you think about it, did our bodies change during puberty? Yes, it did. Or pregnancy, of course. And that's okay. I know how frustrating it can be to navigate the various symptoms of this hormone imbalance. We can feel helpless and out of our depth. Yes, there might be weight gain and the disappearance of your waistline, skin changes, and don't even get me started on the joy of random chin hairs. But these challenges or these changes are not the enemy. They're simply hormonal changes in our body that happen naturally. And we can support this evolution through smart lifestyle choices. And because I was struggling so much with sleep, I trying to learn everything about sleep, and I became a master of it. I wanted to understand what I could do to improve my sleep. And so I researched and experimented on myself. And I started to develop radically different evening and also, interestingly, morning routines based on the science of hormones, because hormones literally regulate every process in our bodies. So here are my top 4 things that I looked at in terms of nutrition and lifestyle. Sugar. It's not just about the weight, it's about inflammation, mood swings, and energy crashes. Coffee. I learned that it takes about 10 to 12 hours for the coffee to be digested. So it can really disrupt already fragile sleeping patterns. Alcohol. It can worsen hot flashes and sleep issues, and our bodies just don't process it as effectively as they used to. And I had one of my clients who just summarized in that, say, if I drink, I don't sleep. As simple as that. Then also food intolerance. Many women find that they become more sensitive to certain foods during this transition. And usually we look at gluten, soy, dairy as the common culprits. So this is a huge topic in itself, nutrition and lifestyle, and we can really just scratch the surface here. But I just want you to remember that there's a lot you can do in the way you nurture your body during this time. I think another thing is movement. Move your body in a way that brings you joy, and really take this time to listen to your body. It's speaking to you louder than ever before. And those aches, they're asking you for gentleness, and the fatigue might be requesting more rest. So honor these messages. I also want you to remember that every line, every silver hair, every soft curve in your body is a story. They're not signs of decline, they're badges of a life well lived. And the best part, there are still so many stories to write. And I think by embracing these physical changes, we're not just accepting our bodies, we're setting the stage for vibrant health in decades to come. And trust me, that is a beautiful thing. So, pillar number 2 is around your emotional wisdom and moving from anxiety and irritation to wisdom and intuition. And I just want to say, if you found yourself on an emotional roller coaster lately, you're not alone, you're not crazy, and you're certainly not losing your mind. You see, as our hormones shift, so does our emotional sensitivity. But here's the secret nobody tells you. This isn't only a weakness, it's also a superpower in disguise. This heightened emotional state, it gives you access to a depth of feeling and to intuition that you may never have experienced before. It's peeling away those layers of I'm fine and I'm okay to reveal a more raw and authentic truth about what you really want and need. So we need to give ourselves permission to feel all of it: the joy, the irritation, the sadness, the frustration, the excitement, and stop pushing emotions down or away. Instead, welcoming them as messengers. These feelings aren't just inconveniences that need to be managed. I think they're guideposts leading you to your most authentic self. One of my coaches years ago asked me, if someone steps on your toes, would they notice? Well, I can tell you during this transition, oh, heck yes, they would. Did I sometimes come across as too forceful? Maybe I did. Did I sometimes have to go back to apologize for my tone? I actually did. But while I might not always have found the perfect way to express myself, the message behind my words was true. We need to tune in. We need to tune into our needs and learn the power of saying no. And as I say here, no is a complete sentence. This is the time to set boundaries, to carve out space for what truly matters to you. If you need rest, then rest. If you need to create and express yourself, create. Dance around the living room, paint, draw, whatever it is. If you need to connect, reach out, but honor these needs without apology. Also, managing stress and anxiety is crucial during this time. And here's just a little bit of fascinating biology, for you. So cortisol, our stress hormone, and estrogen actually compete for the same building blocks in our body. So our body can produce one or the other, but not both in equal amounts. So the more stressed we are, the less estrogen our body produces. And because this is what declines naturally during menopause and perimenopause already, that's not what we want. So, nurturing our emotional wisdom and not just surviving the mood swings of menopause is crucial because we can use them as a catalyst for profound personal growth and self understanding. The next pillar I want to talk about is sharpening your mental clarity. So if you ever walked into a room and forgotten why, or struggled to find the right words in mid-sentence, you are not alone. The menopausal brain is real. We know that the brain fog is real, but it isn't just about forgetting where you put your keys. I think it's also an invitation to reassess and refocus. So during menopause, as I already mentioned, our brains undergo significant changes. But contrary to popular belief, these changes aren't all about decline. In fact, they're setting us up for some of our most insightful and purposeful years yet. This fog we experience, in my opinion, it's not just cognitive. It's often also a sign that we're no longer clear about what we truly want in life. It's as if our brains are wiping a slate clean, giving us a chance to rewrite our story. So, how do we navigate this shift and emerge with more clarity, both mentally and in our life direction? Well, for me, first, that's always what I do also with my clients is embracing the power of questioning, really becoming clear of what truly matters to you now. What values do you want to build your life around? And this is your chance to shed the shoulds and musts that have been driven you for decades. I know this time can also be challenging because it can coincide with other huge life transitions, right? It can be that you're in empty nest or your children are leaving home. Maybe you're caring for aging parents. So it can be a time that really is a big, big challenge on many levels. So the next thing I want to talk about is also your limiting beliefs. You know, those pesky little thoughts that come in and say, I'm too old to start something new, or it's too late for me. I really believe menopause is your golden opportunity to challenge and let go of these beliefs. Remember, some of the most successful women in the world hit their stride after 50. When it comes to brain fog as well, as I already mentioned, like quality sleep isn't really just a luxury, it's essential for our cognitive function. We know so many things are happening while we sleep. So create a sleep routine that works for you. You can also challenge your brain with new skills and subjects. I also find that mindful practices, breath work, meditation can work wonders for mental clarity. And let's not forget the mind-body connection. Like regular exercise isn't just good for your body, it's also rocket fuel for your brain, boosting cognitive function and mood. So remember, this cognitive shift is really preparing you for big picture thinking, enhanced problem solving, and a clearer vision of what you want in your life. You're not losing your edge. You're honoring this next phase of your life. And by working with these challenges instead of against them, we can emerge from this transition with a level of mental clarity and life purpose that we've never experienced before. It's not just about remembering where you put your keys, it's about unlocking the door to the life you really want. And some of you here might be saying, I'm already doing all of this. And this is wonderful. You're working on your lifestyle, you're working on your mentality, your mindset. That's amazing. But let me tell you, this stage in life will challenge you in new ways. And you'll need to step up your game when it comes to developing your emotional wisdom and your mental clarity, really being clear about what you want in life. So, exactly, your values and beliefs. So, the fourth pillar I want to introduce here is also about deepening your spiritual connection. Because as we navigate the physical, emotional, and mental shifts of menopause, we often find ourselves facing profound questions about who we are and why we're here. I was mentioning elder parents maybe losing a parent. So this is the spiritual dimension of this journey that I also want to mention. Now, when I say spiritual, I'm talking about your connection to something larger than yourselves, our sense of purpose, and how we can contribute and find our place in this grand tapestry of life. Menopause is of course often connected to getting older, right? So as we age, the question also becomes, what do we identify with? Our essence that is eternal and permanent, or our body that isn't? Menopause offers us a unique opportunity to deepen the connection to our essence. We are more than childbearing machines, right? And as we step out of our childbearing years, we're invited to give birth to a new version of ourselves that brings forth the wisdom and experience we've accumulated over decades. So, how do we nurture this spiritual growth? It's about turning inwards and spending time with yourself. In a world that's constantly noisy, carve out time for silence and reflection. This might be through meditation or walks in nature, or simply sitting with a cup of tea and your thoughts. For me, it's also about revisiting your values. What truly matters to you at this stage of life? And hopefully that has changed, right? Your values and what's important to you in life might and could be different than what it was when you were in your 20s and your 30s and maybe even your 40s. I also often ask my clients, what legacy do you want to leave? This is a time to align your life with your deepest truth. So for me, for example, I don't have children. It's not something that I've planned. It's just how life turned out to be. So my work and the people that I impact, writing a book and helping my clients to find their voice and live a life on their terms and multiplying their impact and their income, that is my legacy. And there are so many ways we can connect more deeply with our inner self and our purpose. So I also encourage my clients to find ways to express yourself creatively and to contribute to the lives of others. I think ultimately that's what gives meaning and fulfillment to our lives. And perhaps most importantly, honor your intuition, honor the wisdom you've accumulated throughout your life. Sometimes I'm shocked when I hear my clients talk about I don't know if my experience is valuable, but if you've built a career, if you've raised children, you have developed so many skills, so many attributes, so many unique insights that are worth something. I also want to say that spiritual deepening isn't about finding all of the answers. It's about becoming comfortable with the questions and embracing the mystery of life and recognizing the profound wisdom that resides within each one of you. And by nurturing our spiritual connection, we're not just coping with menopause, we're using it as a catalyst for profound transformation. We're becoming the wise woman, the visionary leaders, the way showers that our world so desperately needs. So, as we wrap up our journey today, I want to emphasize a crucial point. Menopause is not the end, it's a transition, it's a metamorphosis. Many of the physical symptoms we experience, they're actually temporary. They usually subside over time. And our brains, well, let me share something that Dr. Lisa Mosconi's research has revealed. Women's brains change during menopause, but they also recover. And they have the uncelebrated ability to adjust and emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before. So we're not just going through menopause, we're growing through it. We're evolving. And I think each pillar that I mentioned offers an opportunity to not just survive this transition, but to thrive through it. And imagine a world where menopause is not seen as an ending, but as a powerful beginning, where women step into their wisdom years with confidence, vitality, and purpose, where we harness this transition to become our most authentic and empowered selves yet. That world starts with us. It starts right here. It starts right now. So I challenge you to embrace this metamorphosis, to love your changing body, to honor your emotions, to trust your evolving mind, and listen to your spirit. Because when you do, you become a beacon that's the beacon of what's possible, right? You become a role model, an example for others. So, just want to say, if you're ready to embrace this journey and become the best version of yourself, I'm here to guide you. So let's connect and explore what we can do to work together to unleash your full potential in this next and exciting chapter of your life. And really remember, menopause is not the final chapter. It's the opening of a new and exciting book. And the best part, life is always an adventure, no matter how old you are, if you allow it to be. Thank you.
That
Do
was
we
an
have some?
Yeah, that was an amazing session, Daniela. I'm going to pause. Yeah, I guess you have motivated many women around the world about menopause to stay strong during this phase. And definitely, that's not the end of the life. Definitely, there is more to achieve. Yeah, our audience have few questions regarding this. So we would like to ask one question.
Yeah. What are some practical mindset strategies to overcome the fear or anxiety around menopause?
So I think that's a good question. Thank you. I think it's knowing that it's a normal process. It's not something that you're alone with. There are many women that actually experience this during this time. And the other thing is, I think, digging a little bit deeper and seeing what are the stories you're telling yourself about this time that is causing the anxiety, right? Is it that, like I had on my first slide, this was my peak, it's only downhill from here, or I'm becoming invisible. That's a lot what I hear from women as well. And then doing the work to change your mindset, to change those stories and uncover the truth beyond or underneath those beliefs, and realizing it's a story we're telling ourselves, or a story we've also been told, that can cause this anxiety. And then there's, breath work and meditation that we know are ways to kind of calm your nervous system, and relax. I love breath work. I do a lot of breath work. I do a lot of energy healing as well, and I think that also works wonders in these cases.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful session with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
As we bring the incredible conference to a close, I am filled with a sense of profound gratitude and admiration for each and every one of you. We have witnessed the power of collective action, the strength of shared experiences, and the boundless potential that lies within each of us.
Throughout our time together, we have engaged in thought provoking discussions, forged new connections, and gained invaluable insights that will undoubtedly shape our paths forward. From the inspiring keynote addresses to the vibrant conversations in breakout sessions, this conference has been a testament to the transformative power of coming together as a community.
Thank you.